How's it going, everyone? It's SavageSkull. I wanted to review another game today, similar to one we reviewed quite recently. Today, I'm going to give you a straightforward review of Resident Evil Biohazard. So, without further ado, hit the subscribe button, like this video so others can watch it, and let's jump straight into it. Resident Evil Biohazard was a much-needed reboot to the Resident Evil franchise. After the completely off-course disaster that was Resident Evil 6, Capcom needed a restart. So they began brainstorming and thinking of ways to fix their mistakes that they had made the last two Resident Evil games. That's where Resident Evil Biohazard comes in. This game had a completely different tone than all the other Resident Evil games. While 5 and 6 focused more on action to impress America, 7 completely changed it up and went back to the roots, survival horror. With the brand new first-person camera, players felt much more immersed in the action and horror. I can tell you the first time I played this, I was absolutely terrified, which left me right on the edge of my seat, always anticipating the game's next move. Alright, let's break down the story. Ethan Winters had lost his wife, Mia Winters, 3 years ago in a cruise ship accident. While he was looking through his mail, something had caught his attention. It was from his wife, Mia. A letter that said to come get her with an address written on the front. So Ethan made the 28-hour drive from California to Louisiana, finally arriving at his destination. Ethan quickly got out of his car and walked around the property. Realizing most of the doors were locked, he proceeded to walk around the back of the house. There, he found his way in, but the door closed behind him, encompassing him in darkness. Fiddling with his flashlight, he began to make out the surroundings of a cozy old country home. As he made his way around the house, he discovered many things that made him unsettled. Bugs, a videotape that showcased 3 blatant murders, and finally in the basement of the home, where his wife Mia was locked up in a cell. Ethan was obviously alarmed, and he was confused on how his wife could have sent him that letter. Those are just some of the reasons why I love this game so much. The way the creators truly set the scene and make you feel terrified as you wander through this old abandoned home. The first-person camera really adds to the immersive experience, as I constantly feel like I'm being watched and feel like I'm even there. Gladly, this is what the developers of the game wanted. They wanted the people to feel like they were there, and playing this game I definitely do. Anyways, Ethan has a short dispute with Mia on why she's been here 3 years and what's going on, while she warns him of the looming danger and how it will hurt them if it finds them. As Mia is leading Ethan out of the house, who is growing more and more confused, they run into a dead end while looking around for another point to escape, and Mia is pulled through a wall. Ethan decides to investigate, and while doing so, he finds Mia. This time she isn't herself. She attacks Ethan, leaving him with cuts all over his hands and wrists. As he gets his hands sawed off, narrowly escaping Mia, he encounters her again in the attic of the home, where she is killed by Ethan. Ethan tries to find a way out of the attic when he is knocked out and boot stomped. By the way, guys, let me know what other games you want me to review, because I have so much fun making these videos, and hopefully you have so much fun watching them. So if there's a game you want me to play and review, please leave it down in the comments below, and I will get to it. Anyway, let's get back to it. Ethan wakes up being dragged through the mud by a strange old man. While he is fading in and out of consciousness, he hears a woman speaking to him as his hand is stapled back on. Later, he wakes up around a table. This is where we meet the Baker family. Jack, the old man who is dragging us, Jack's wife Marguerite, and their son Lucas, who seemed a little off. After Ethan refused to eat the food they made him, Marguerite ran off screaming, as she was angry he was disrespecting her food. As Jack was about to stab Ethan with a knife for disrespecting his wife, the doorbell rang. Jack and Lucas went to investigate, while Ethan escaped, later meeting with the cop who had rang the doorbell. After pleading his case to the cop, he convinces the cop to help him out and give him a gun. The cop gave him a knife, and they met in the garage. This leads to the cop being brutally decapitated by Jack. After a short altercation with Jack, you get a phone call from a strange woman named Zoe, who tells you to meet her in the RV in front of the house. This is one of my favorite parts of the game, as it shows the strangeness of the environment and the well-written characters. It's also really strange how after Ethan's hand was cut off, it was seemingly reattached. Another thing that I love that previous Resident Evils haven't really done other than 4 is the shop system. Throughout this game, you can find antique coins and use them to buy extra health and even a magnum revolver if you so please. These are all very helpful, as some of the bosses can be pretty difficult, and these items will help you mitigate those bosses as well as continue throughout the game. After you do some looking around, you find a way out, but the door requires 3 keys, so you have to go around the house looking for them. Along the way, you meet some new enemies called the Molded, who are dark and grotesque looking. And you finally make it outside after another deadly struggle with Jack. Zoe says that they need a serum in order to make it out of there alive, so you get to a nearby old house to find some. So you go looking through the next section of the game, fighting off Marguerite and her bugs, while looking for her cure. Eventually, you find the recipe for it, hidden on the second floor of the home. This leads to an interesting boss fight against a mutilated Marguerite, who takes the form of a strange humanoid spider. Some other great aspects of Resident Evil Biohazard that stand out to me are the game's survival horror elements. Players must conserve their resources, such as ammunition and health items, as they navigate the houses in the boat. Constricting you is very limited inventory and scarce crafting materials, featuring a dynamic difficulty system which adjusts the difficulty level based on the player's performance, which makes the game accessible to players of all skill levels. And this was another thing I really enjoyed about this game. Anyone with any type of experience level could pick up this game and enjoy it through its entirety. This is very important in this fight because the game leaves you with nearly no ammo and a very restricted inventory space, leaving you to look for things around the house to use against Marguerite. Some of the things include napalm, explosives, and even healing items. After you kill her, you fight through Lucas's puzzles. You find yourself making a decision to either cure your wife Mia or your newfound friend Zoe. Even though she may cut off my hand before, I picked Mia because she was my wife and seemed to know the lay of the land. After I cured Mia, we hopped on a boat and we got ready to escape, but something attacked us in the river, leaving us stranded on the wreckage of the cruise ship that Mia arrived on. And that's basically the story. One of my least favorite things about this game is the way the difficulty goes from 0 to 100 in the hardest difficulty. It feels like every enemy is just a bullet sponge, making it difficult to conserve your ammo, and with the enemies doing an unprecedented amount of damage, it's also hard to conserve your healing items, making you just want to turn it off. This is especially annoying against bosses as it leaves you with nothing but your wits and good aim to beat them. Mia finds and frees Ethan from his restraints, but history repeats itself and Ethan must say goodbye to his wife again. Now back as Ethan, you must find a way to stop Evelyn and escape this nightmare that is this trip to Louisiana. So you make your way through Lucas's hidden research lab, you finally find Evelyn and kill her, putting an end to the mold. And that's it. I had a lot of fun playing this game. Some of the things I didn't entirely love, but this game I would highly recommend to any fans of shooters or first-person games or horror games, because this game at times is very, very scary. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go check out my review of Resident Evil 8 Village, because that one, if you liked this video, you're definitely gonna like that video as well. And again, please comment down below what other games you want me to review in the future. I will review any game. Please just let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video so others can watch it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications so you don't miss out on anything in the future. And as always, I am SavageSkull, and I will see you beautiful people on the flip side. Goodbye, everybody.